I think a lot of people think, hey, the Bears are going to take this up to the final week and they're going to keep us guessing. Is it going to be Justin? Is it going to be Caleb? And it's entirely possible that does happen.
Call, Laura. I realize I went back and forth on this. Obviously, keeping that pick and taking Caleb, or trading the pick and keeping Justin Fields. And I went back and forth. I'm thinking Caleb Williams, if it's a push.
They should trade the first pick, in my opinion, and build around Justin Fields.
What the Chicago Bears are doing has never been done before. To find out what I'm talking about, let's go all the way back to the end of the 2021 NFL season. Following the conclusion of the 2021 NFL season, the Chicago Bears finished with a record of 6-11. The Bears fan base was sick of being mediocre, and the Bears eventually decided to move on from both GM Ryan Pace and head coach Matt Nagy. The Bears would then bring in Ryan Poles as their new GM and Matt Eberflus as their head coach. The hiring of Ryan Poles in particular gave hope to Bears fans, as he played a big role in building the Chiefs' current dynasty and the process of drafting Patrick Mahomes. Poles instantly knew that if the Bears wanted to escape the cycle of being mid, they needed to clean house immediately, and that's exactly what he did, loading up on draft capital by trading Khalil Mack and replacing the old vets on the roster with guys like Jaquan Brisker, Kyler Gordon, Braxton Jones, etc., all through the 2022 NFL Draft. During the 2022 regular season, Poles decided to make huge trades, trading Roquan Smith for a second-round pick and instantly cashing that pick in for wide receiver Chase Claypool. This turned out to be a huge mistake by Ryan Poles, but this was probably the only mistake he has made so far. Now this is where things get interesting. The Bears finished the 2022 season as the worst team in the NFL, having a record of 3-14 and securing the number 1 overall pick in the 2023 NFL Draft. But strangely enough, this team was not as bad as the record indicated. The Bears' promising but inconsistent quarterback Justin Fields was keeping the Bears in games when they really should have lost by more than just one score. The Bears' defense was awful, and Fields had almost no help on the offense, throwing to guys like Equanimeous St. Brown and Dante Pettis, not to mention all the injuries on the offensive line. It was clear that if the Bears drafted a quarterback to replace Justin Fields, they would also struggle. So GM Ryan Poles decided to run it back with Justin. And in the 2023 NFL Draft, Ryan Poles decided to go all out and trade the number 1 overall pick to the Carolina Panthers, receiving wide receiver DJ Moore, a 2023 first and second round pick, a 2024 first round pick, and a 2025 second round pick. This was an amazing trade for the Bears, giving Fields a true wide receiver 1, and then eventually drafting the most promising tackle out of the class in Darnell Wright gave Fields the opportunity to prove if he could really be that franchise guy for the Bears. However, a lot of Bears fans did throw shade at Poles for trading down and getting Wright instead of drafting Jalen Carter at number 9. But ultimately, this was the best pick to really see what Fields can do with some actual help around him. The most intriguing piece to this trade, and the main reason why I created this video, was the 2024 first round pick from the Panthers. This is because the Carolina Panthers ended up being the worst team in the NFL in 2023, finishing with a record of 2-15, which gave the Chicago Bears a number 1 overall pick again. The Bears currently hold 2 top 10 picks in this year's draft, the number 1 overall pick via the Panthers, like I just mentioned, and their own number 9 pick. Now this is where things can get even more interesting, depending on what Ryan Poles decides to do here. There's a lot of controversy surrounding what the Bears will and can do in the draft this year, especially at the quarterback position. Bears fans have been going crazy on social media discussing what the Bears should do. The entire NFL is holding their breath, waiting to see what the Bears will do. Will they draft Caleb Williams, or will they run it back with Justin Fields? Only time will tell, but if Poles decides to keep Fields, he has the opportunity to do the funniest thing ever: get the number 1 overall pick again in next year's draft. You may ask, how is this even possible? Well, I think the best shot at accomplishing this would be to trade down with the Washington Commanders. The Commanders are sitting at the number 2 overall pick and are expected to draft a quarterback. Washington can possibly be the worst team in the NFL next year, making them the perfect trade partner for the Chicago Bears. Getting a trade-off with either the Commanders or another weak team could possibly give the Chicago Bears the #1 overall pick 3 years in a row, all while being a playoff contender in 2024. Especially with getting the opportunity to pair up DJ Moore with Ohio State wide receiver Marvin Harrison Jr., who most analysts think is the best wide receiver prospect ever, and getting even more talent via later picks in the draft and free agency. Poles can repeat this process as long as possible, building up the Bears' draft capital and cashing some of it in for elite talent. Ryan Poles has honestly perfectly crafted one of the best rebuild strategies I've ever seen. I honestly don't think something like this has ever happened in NFL history, and I wouldn't be surprised if other NFL GMs copy this blueprint/formula in the future, especially if it all works out like I believe it will, bringing that long-term success to the fan base in Chicago that they've been looking for ever since the 80s. Teams like the Atlanta Falcons and the New York Giants should probably take notes if they ever want to break the cycle of being mid. You can't just keep spending big in free agency and trading away valuable draft picks for players you should only trade for if you're already a contender looking for the icing on the cake. If you really want to contend for a Super Bowl in this league, you need to build through the draft, and then surround that core talent with veteran free agents, and there's no better way to do it than with this strategy that Ryan Poles was able to implement into the Bears situation. I went online and looked up some Bears mock drafts/trades, and here are some of the best realistic ones I could find. So the first trade that I made was with the Raiders. I'm not sure if the Raiders are giving up too much here or if the Bears could get more, but this seems kind of realistic, I guess. So the piece that intrigues me the most in this trade is Max Crosby. Pairing up Max Crosby with Montez Sweat would be absolutely insane. Montez Sweat by himself is already insane, but adding another superstar pass rusher would make offensive coordinators from other teams absolutely terrified. Another possibility trading with the Raiders would be to replace Max Crosby with Davante Adams. I doubt Marvin Harrison Jr. will be available at pick 11, so getting Davante Adams in this trade would make up for that. Now for the second mock trade, this would be if they moved on from Justin Fields and drafted Caleb Williams. The Bears would give up Justin Fields and this year's #9 pick in exchange for the second overall pick in this year's draft. This trade would also be absolutely insane because they have an opportunity to pair up Marvin Harrison Jr., Caleb Williams, and DJ Moore all together on the same team. If Caleb Williams becomes as good as analysts say he is, the Bears would instantly become contenders. The situation the Chicago Bears are in is truly unbelievable. General manager Ryan Poles has put the Bears in a position where they cannot lose, regardless if they keep Fields or draft Caleb Williams. This goes to show how good of a GM Ryan Poles has been for the Bears. Whichever route he takes this offseason, I truly think the Bears' floor is a 10-win team. That's pretty realistic in my opinion, but some fans don't understand that the Bears could have easily made the playoffs this year if they didn't choke in those 3 games against the Lions, Broncos, and Browns. Not to mention that Fields missed 4 games due to injury. The addition of this new offensive coaching staff led by Shane Waldron can honestly lead this team deep into the playoffs if everything aligns.